Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Froggistan. It's nothing I say is financial advice, entertainment purposes only. Let me get my mic refixed here. We are going to be getting on a Twitter space call in a minute, and we are going to be watching Charles Payne. He's got a big show coming up at 2 Eastern time on Fox Business, which I'm going to stream. And he's going to talk about these short sellers, man. There's some big stuff's getting ready to happen. He even said in his tweet, mother of all short squeezes. Let me go to it real quick before I start the Twitter space. This is great, you guys. This is some big stuff coming up. Hedge funds went on a shorting frenzy this summer, and now BOA, Bank of America, says the bottom is not in because retail investors haven't sold. Meanwhile, active managers are scurrying back in. Could this be the mother of all squeezes? So we're going to go ahead and get set up. I'm going to start the space call. If you could, make sure you please share, like, and subscribe. Let me get this going on Twitter. Hold on with me for just 1 second. Start now. And let me get the space call up on here. Go to my profile. Well, we'll get it going here in a minute. I'm active on the space now. We're just waiting for people to join, and there we go. Now we can get on the space. Hey, what up, here? What's good, buddy? Let me get the screen share set up here. What's up, here? I'm good, man. This Charles Payne show is probably going to be a good one.
Yeah, he was calling out Bank of America for their statement.
Properties, speakers. This Charles Payne.
Yeah, he was calling out Bank of America for their statement.
There we go. Jay Brett's in the house. Everybody in the house. If you guys please could share the space call so everybody knows. I'm going to get the YouTube TV set up here in a split second. What a day, though. What an amazing week. Shorts they're trying so hard to keep things below 25.50, and they're just getting smacked. I think you're going to see a lot of failure to delivers pile up this week, next week, the week after. And I almost guarantee you Adam Aaron's going to come out, make a statement about potentially talking with the NYSE again. So, okay.
I mean, besides that, like you've seen Robin Hood, what the news with Robin Hood, Melvin Capital.
Yeah. Making money with Charles Payne. Got that set up.
Dude, I've been so excited about this week. I just bought 100 more shares.
Money with Charles Payne. Got that set up.
I just bought 100 more shares.
Yeah, I made some purchases too this week, so I'm pretty excited about it.
This is a good time to be averaging up.
Yes, sir. Okay, done. Well, and that's what next week I'm actually going to be live streaming my final dip buy is what I'm calling it until after the 22nd. I think we're going to get one more opportunity to get in maybe below 25, but I have a good feeling about the 19th. All the options landed in the money, so
Yeah, I think next Friday I'm going to take my spare change and buy a couple more shares just for the giggles. Right now I'm at a nice even number, which is what my OCD likes me to be at. But I may just put a little extra in there just to kick it over.
Absolutely. All right. So Charles Payne's supposed to be on at 2, so we got about 13 minutes. So feel free to come up and speak if you want. Charles Payne. Let me read the tweet in case you guys didn't see it. I'm sure you did, but this was an awesome tweet from him. Let's see.
Can you pin it to the top?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good idea. Let me pin it. I'm trying to run 3 different screens here, so just bear with me for a second. There it is. Pin to top. Okay, it's pinned to the top, but I'll read it too. Hedge funds went on a shorting frenzy this summer, and now Bank of America says the bottom is not in because retail investors haven't sold, which is absolutely awesome. Meanwhile, active managers are scurrying back in. Could this be the mother of all squeezes? He's going to talk about it at 2 p.m., so not very too much further away.
What are your thoughts on BlackRock selling some AMC? People keep speculating that it was like what they were lending out and like synthetics, but who knows?
It could be. I know the Russell rebalance probably had something to do with it, but at the same time, the timing of it is all so suspicious. And suddenly, a lot of shares that we were seeing pop up on this endless share borrowing stuff just kind of disappeared. You know what I mean? So I think it has something to do with it. I don't know if people on my YouTube can hear me or not. Okay, let's see. Got my speaker set up. Got YouTube TV up. Let's see. New episode today at 2. How do I get to it? Episodes. There they are.
But I can hear you clear on the YouTube.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, man. I've had to reset up my whole system since I got home because going out of state, I don't know what happened, but it's like it reset all my stuff. It was weird. Going to Michigan kind of messed it up. What is today? August 12th? Today, this program hasn't aired yet after it's been recorded.
Wasn't supposed, isn't, I mean, I think I saw Liz Clayman saying something about him very recently.
Well, she posted something today that didn't look very good on her.
Yeah, she'll address it at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
I know it's just a lot of big news coming in, man. This is okay, YouTube TV. It's all bullish for us. There's nothing not bullish on what's going on here. For everybody that just got in the call, if you could please retweet the call so everybody can see it. I'll get Charles Payne up here. We got about 8 minutes before he goes live. I'm excited to hear what he has to say, man, because that tweet, that's pretty aggressive. I'm really happy this Charles Payne's been with us this entire time. Dude's an absolute beast, man. But, you know, in everything that's going on, this is my thesis with it all. Preferred shares are getting issued 1-to-1, AMC, dividend, we all know that. Short have to buy these preferred shares to facilitate the shares they borrowed. If they can't, lenders can recall their shares, which will probably happen. But there's only 518 million preferred shares, right? Or 516, whatever. So the only way they're going to get these shares, these preferred ape shares, so they can facilitate their shorts is if people sell. So if people get, you know, their shares August 22nd, decide to turn around and sell them right away, you're just giving them to the short sellers. That's immediately where they're going to go. So I think we're going to see some pretty insane price action on the 22nd, you know, the next week starting Monday on AMC and Ape, because if they can't get the Ape, which puts it in really high demand, they're trying to buy it, they're forced to close due to recalls. That means AMC is going to shoot up too. So now you have a dual parabolic possible event coming in on Ape and AMC, which could absolutely shatter this market right now. I'm so jacked for this. The beauty of it all is later on, shorts are still going to need some of the shorts are still going to need the Ape preferred shares. So Adam Aaron can go sell them at a premium on the open market to them, make a ton of money. I'm talking 1.5 billion apes sold to the open market could potentially pay off $5 billion in debt. AMC could be completely debt free. Then we vote to convert those back to common stock. Once he's debt free and we're making all kinds of money, boom, buy back AMC shares, and there's zero dilution in the company. We go forward with 2023 revenues going higher, plus branded credit card and popcorn sales. AMC could be an absolute powerhouse in 2023 and 2024. So it's so awesome. Everything's perfect. Charles Payne.
I mean, and I guess in general, overall macro, when you're talking about inflation, I mean, it did come down a bit, so it's helping pretty much the whole market rally.
Yeah. What's going on here? Trying to figure out how to get to the live point for Charles Payne. I think you can't get on to like the minute of or something. It's weird. It's got my base plan. I'm good to go there. Okay. Maybe it's because I use the app. Let me try it. YouTube TV. I'm pretty excited to hear the show, though. This is going to be epic.
Did you see that clip of that one CEO kind of calling out the shorts and telling them to kind of go die and stuff for shorting his company?
I don't think I did. Are you talking about the one where the dude had to fire people and he was like crying about it or something? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't think it was. I think it was something else. I can look for it.
Yeah, I'll play it if it's something relevant. Sounds like it's so somebody. What did they do? They shorted his company and crushed him, or what?
He was basically no, it's still surviving, but he says he's gonna make all the shorts pay and whatnot.
Oh. We're trying hard to keep AMC below 25.50. That's for sure. Lots of 21,000 call options on the 19th above on 25.50. If those land in the money and people exercise, this is gonna be awesome. Charles Payne making money. New show at 2. It's almost 2. New episode today at 2. How do I guess you just go to Fox Business Live. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm all set up. I think it would put you in some kind of waiting screen. I don't know. YouTube TV is kind of funny sometimes. Cohodes Coast to Coast is live. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Now we got 4 minutes anyway, so glad to see everybody in the call, man.
Hey, Spence, I got to drop for a bit. I got a work call.
Yeah, sure, no problem, man. A lot of other calls going on right now too, but I don't care. People need to hear Charles Payne. Do, do, do. So it sounds like pretty much finally the community's getting over all these dilution concerns, which is really good. I just such bad FUD that came out. Seems like every time we have some really great catalysts, certain people like to pop back up in the community and just cause a bunch of problems. Absolutely insane. Let me go to, I think he comes on right after Cavuto.
Pharmaceuticals, they're just going to reflect it to the consumer.
A network of the most successful real estate agents in America that'll sell your home for as little as a 2% commission.
The icing on the cake with the Ideal Agent was that we saved $12,000 in commissions.
We would definitely use Ideal Agent again. The whole process was so positive for us.
Excellent, excellent service.
Getting right to the point, hiring Ideal Agent, I wish we would have done that sooner, and we would have saved 6 months of, of time and mortgage payments that would have probably never happened if we would have just gone with them first.
They were so stress-free. The whole process was amazing, and I would definitely recommend them.
We certainly recommend Ideal Agent now to all of our family, all of our friends. It's just a great experience.
We are not a discount brokerage. These are top local agents that'll get you the best results.
Did you know color is vital to your health? I'm not talking about the color of the walls in your house or your car or your clothes. I'm talking about the color of the food you eat. A colorful diet is a part of staying well because many nutrients are color. Eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables provides your body with diverse chemistry it needs to heal itself and stay well. Color, taste, and smell keep you well, and that's what you get with Balance of Nature.
Start now by going to balanceofnature.com and don't forget to use discount code Fox News.
For many years, Levin Papantonio Rafferty has fought to protect the rights of our veterans and their families. We remain committed to that fight today. The United States Marine Corps discovered toxic chemicals in the drinking water at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987. If you or someone in your family lived, worked, or were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and developed cancer or a serious health condition, call our law firm today. We want to help.
This is the planning effect. This is how it feels to know you have a wealth plan that covers everything that's important to you. This is what it's like to have a dedicated Fidelity advisor looking at your full financial picture, making sure you have the right balance of risk and reward, and helping you plan for future generations. This is the planning effect from Fidelity.
All right, markets on track to end the week in the green. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ on pace for their fourth straight week of gains. Charles Payne, I'll take it. But if you could make these numbers go higher, I'd appreciate it.
Hey, they call me the magician. Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Charles Payne. This is Making Money. And breaking right now, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ are on track for their longest winning streak since November of 2021. And I can tell you, the elites are not happy. Why? Well, because those small retail investors have blinked. Well, guess what, folks? You're a lot bigger than you think, and Wall Street knows it. I'll explain during the show. Also, maybe that's why we keep hearing that this market has not bottomed in history. Those small retail investors have blinked. Well, guess what, folks? You're a lot bigger than you think. I love to hear from you. Knows it. I'll explain during the show. Also, plus the House is set to push the Democrats' sweeping climate spending bill through. Are you tired of our current political system? From Main Street to Wall Street, we've got David Webb and Deneen Borelli at 240 on the political angle. Plus the House is set to push the Democrats' sweeping climate spending bill through. Clear evidence that the war on fossil fuels from Main Street to Wall Street. We've got David Webb and Deneen Borelli at 240 on the political angle. Mitch Rochelle will tell us about the market impact. Plus clear evidence that the war on fossil fuels is punishing the poorest Americans. I'll tell you why and how and my take. All that and so much more on Making Money. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union downgraded Pluto from a major planet as it defined a new class of space objects. They called them dwarf planets. Essentially, there are 9 objects out there that are smaller than our moon. To this day, the move has angered a whole lot of folks, including many who have no interest in astronomy at all or space, other than just the fact that they think they're taking up for the little guy. In this case, it would be Pluto. Now, for me, there's a similar story when it comes to the stock market. The investing world, from the financial media to major firms, treat individual investors as less important than other types of investors. But when it actually comes to the market solar system, individual investors aren't just planets, they are Jupiter. According to Bank of America, households, not hedge funds, not major corporations, are the biggest class of owners of U.S. stocks. In fact, try $38 trillion. And now Bank of America is saying a bottom in the stock market has not been put in because, well, those households have become, in their words, placid gorillas. Okay, so they're just saying, of course, they want to see these folks sell. Nothing there has really, hasn't, you can see that the chart we have up there, not only haven't there been selling recently, but the fact of the matter is we haven't seen a whole lot of outflows since the end of the global financial crisis. So it's amazing to think that no matter how great fundamentals become, even as we get through the inflation, recession, crisis, Bank of America still needs to see you dump your stock. They want to see you capitulate. Joining me now to discuss SureVest CEO Rob Luna, Needham Asset Management Portfolio Manager Chris Retzler. Hey, Rob, let me start with you because you work with a lot of individual investors, and I know your message is buy and hold. What about this message, though, from Wall Street? Sell because it'll make everything better for everyone.
Yeah, that's what we talked about exactly last week, Charles, is they're trying to talk this market down because they've been on the sidelines. Let's remember just a month ago, the professional sentiment, meaning the professional asset managers had more cash on the sideline. They were scarier than they were during COVID. So they're trying to talk this market down so they can get in. Otherwise, this is a job security issue, Charles. If you're an individual investor, don't listen to it. Don't go into the safe haven stocks. It hasn't worked out. This is your opportunity. But as you said, Charles, they've already caught on to that nonsense. They're invested and they're buying dips.
No, Chris, listen, the contrarian stuff when it comes to markets, particularly trading, it does work. Although I am really surprised how many experts are saying their main method for getting in and out of this market is what happens with the smaller investor. Your thoughts?
Well, I like to think of investors as longer-term investors, and I think that that's where you're going to make most of your money. I think you're talking about traders who want to pick tops and bottoms. And if that's what they want to do, I would say dollar cost average would be a better approach. As we wait for, maybe some pullback here in the market, June seems to have put in a nice low, but we have moved quite far, very short time. So again, I think if you take a long-term viewpoint, I think investors will do very well.
You know what I do find even more peculiar is that hedge funds and leverage funds, they went hard, I mean really ham, shorting this market this summer. They are net short. This as retail investors have become more constructive, Chris. So I'm wondering if the next leg higher could actually be a short squeeze of the smart money.
It certainly could be, and you could be seeing some of it already. What I'm watching, with institutional money is the high yield market, which has recovered quite nicely. It's tangential to the small cap area where I spend a lot of my time. And so you're seeing the Russell recover here. It is a widening out of the market. The market breadth has increased, which is certainly nice to see. The question is it sustainable through the end of the summer where volumes may begin to dry up as more people are on vacation? So that would be the one concern I have over the next kind of 4 or 5 weeks.
August is notorious for light volume, Rob, and also the seasonality of it all. But how interesting is it, though, that these hedge funds really went deep on shorting? They're net short this market right now. And if this keeps going the way it is, Chris just mentioned how it's broadening out. They may have to blink soon.
Yeah, it's funny because as you mentioned at the top of the hour here, Charles, the retail investor right now is a lot bigger of a player than they've ever been in this market. They're staying the course right now. And I think, as you mentioned, the short squeeze could definitely be that next leg up. And let's remember, we talked about this a month ago. The sentiment of this market has changed. People are buying dips. We're now above the 200-day exponential moving average. We're seeing peak inflation numbers. The tape has changed. Trying to fight that is a dangerous thing to do. And I think some of these people's risk management departments are going to tap them on the shoulder there pretty soon.
Well, let me tap you on the shoulder, okay, Rob, because I was busting your chops earlier this week. You tweeted, quote, "Did someone say soft landing rally?" And I replied, easy there, cowboy. Okay, I want to give you props, right? You were buying when the majority of the guests coming on the show said, hey, we're going to sit on our hands. So now what? If someone has missed this, do they buy or do they wait for the next pullback?
Charles, I mean, look, as we were just saying, if you have a longer-term perspective, I think you need to be buying here right now. And look, I'm not prophetic, but we've been talking about the facts, valuations, the technicals. And look, I was, you're asking me what stocks do I like? I like more stocks here than I've ever liked before. Some of the big names, Google, Meta. I think if you're a long-term investor and you haven't got in, this is the time to get in. And by the way, I appreciate the harassment. Anytime you give it to me, Charles, I get more followers, so keep it coming.
All right. Hey, Chris, a lot of folks are now looking at this Jackson Hole meeting for the Fed. A lot of this data now, I mean, they're getting set up to a point maybe they can even take a victory lap. I'm sure it's kind of early, but could we start to hear maybe a changing of the tune soon?
I think at Jackson Hole, they're going to remain hawkish. I think it's been working for them to kind of let the market do the work for them. But they're going to be data dependent. We have a few more numbers to come out in September before the next rate meeting. So I just don't think that they're going to be very dovish here, and they're going to be data dependent.
All right. Well, let's leave it there. Rob, Chris, great starting the show off with you guys. Have a great weekend. I want to bring in now Allspring Global Investments Head of Equities, Ameletian. And this is a relief rally for sure, no doubt about it. Is it premature with respect to sort of, we still got the inflation debate and the recession debate. Is this rally maybe starting too early?
Look, I think it's a little bit hot right now. Right. Some of the rally that we've seen this past week makes me a little bit suspicious in that some of it might be low quality. We've seen non-profitable tech up more than 45% since mid-June. The meme stocks, yes, retail investors are important, but the meme stocks up 33%. That's much more than most of stocks in the indexes. So I think we're getting some of that short squeeze happening right now. And I just wouldn't chase right here.
But I looked at the National Association of Active Managers, fund managers, and I mean, they were really completely out of the market not long ago, and they are chasing. They're around 70%, something like that exposure, and it feels like they're coming on strong. I mean, it's a different kind of gig, right, than other managers, particularly passive managers. There's a lot of pressure on them to make a decision, and folks like you.
Yeah. Our active teams, our active equity teams have been 95+% invested throughout this.
Really?
We have been more bullish going into this. We're long-only investors, right? So we have been invested in the markets. The hard part about this part of the cycle is, chasing, owning the right names. I would be concerned if our equity managers were outperforming this past week.
Right.
Based on the low quality.
Right.
Yes. So I'd rather actually see them win the war and lose a couple of battles, especially if they're the low quality battle.
But it's still something to be said for long only missing out, right? SoftBank, and that's Tiger Global, they reported for the quarter. Their long-only fund lost 68%. Yeah. So, and I think they were in a lot of quote-unquote quality names. So those names, are they starting to come on now?
They are. I mean, look, there's been throughout this market, even regardless of how tough it is, there's been names that have worked better than others. But it's been it's been all kind of ships rising or falling together. We're starting to see that bifurcation happen where stock selection matters. You didn't see it throughout the last decade as much. I think whenever you have a regime change or a paradigm shift, the same thing happens. Everything falls together, and now you see the real separation.
Last year, though, we started maybe last February, March, these rolling capitulations, sector by sector, which, by the way, was masked because the last sector to go down was, mega cap and then, of course, energy. And so some are wondering if it goes the other way. When we come back, maybe this is with the same script. Maybe it's the lower quality stuff and the other things will come back later.
That's what we're seeing right now, I think. The challenge is that typically doesn't last unless you really believe that the Fed is done.
Right.
And, inflation's not going to be a problem. We believe that we are in a new paradigm shift, that inflation is going to be higher, that the rate cycle is going to be a little higher going forward.
So no pivot this year from the Fed, and no rate cuts next year from the Fed?
Look, I don't
that's
have
a long ways to look out.
Yeah, it's a long ways to look out. And look, I don't know what the Fed will do next year. I do know the pace of change is in this direction instead of this direction over the long term. And I think that's what we're investing for.
I know you love to tell anyone to chase, but we were talking before the show. You said you kind of like small caps here. My last question, I didn't get a chance to ask the guys. Is Pluto a planet?
I'm going to stick with us trying to investigate and make sure we're right on the stars, and let the other experts determine whether. Well,
I'm down with the little guy and gal and Pluto, so put me down. Pluto, yes, it's been a planet all this time. Let's not change it now. And it is a pleasure having you in the studio. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, so Fox News has reviewed former President Trump's FBI warrant. We're going to dive into it right now, give you more details coming up. Also,
debt within a year. They can cancel $5 billion. Sorry, I gotta put the sound back on the YouTube. They could cancel $5 billion in debt very simply within a year. And not to mention, if we decide to convert those shares over back to AMC stock, AMC now has no debt. We all made our money. We convert the shares back. Adam Aaron comes out with the new revenue streams in 2023 and starts buying back shares. So the dilution is effectively gone. It's like the most simple, straightforward plan, and it's genius. It's going to work really good. So I don't know where these people are coming out with fear of dilution problems, because the ape shares are in such high demand, they're going to pop. Then when forced covering starts due to recalls, AMC is going to pop. Dilution's not going to matter. It's all about supply and demand. That's why every time he's done a share offering in the past, we've had exponential price increases. So I am myself personally not worried one bit about dilution. I don't know if anybody else has an opinion on it, but.
I was going to tell you that Liz Clayman just tweeted something out about going on about AMC at noon my time, so in around 45 minutes. And I had scheduled to start a space at that time. Someone was going to come on and discuss their thread about the calls for AMC in the money.
Sure, yeah. I only wanted to host this just for the that Charles Payne piece there. So, what time did you say your space was?
In around 45 minutes, but I was gonna say, if you want, we could do it, and if you want to play the Liz Clayman, clip or whatever, we could try to do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you share a space thing? I'll pin it to the top.
Yeah,
So,
I did. I scheduled it like right before you started this one, so you probably didn't see it.
oh, bag holders of America. There it is. Okay, I found it.
Sweet. Or we can just stay in here and then I could cancel that. But I'm trying. There was someone who was supposed to come on. I tweeted his thread out earlier or retweeted it, the last bear standing. I thought it was a really good thread that he did about the dividend and how he sees it as very bullish. So I don't know. I wanted to discuss with him about it.
Awesome. I'm interested to hear because me personally, I've done nothing but DD for the. I mean, we've been talking about this dividend for 13 months, and then for people to come out and FUD it in the beginning when it was an idea, and then FUD it afterwards when we finally get it, just blows my mind. But I've looked into every scenario that could potentially happen with this dividend, and I do not see any problems going forward with it whatsoever. I think this is going to be the market event that we've all been waiting for. So I'm pretty jacked. Speakers. Oh,
Same.
maybe that's why.
Same.
10 days away, guys. 10 days.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
having
10
all
days
kinds
till
of.
it starts trading, right?
Yeah. Let's see. What is today's the 12th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 actually, right? Oh, 22nd is the day it trades. The 19th is the issuance, and then 22nd is the day it trades, right?
Yes.
Yes. I'm having such terrible Twitter difficulties today with the volume of the space calls not being consistent. Hey everybody, thanks for coming. I just wanted to play the Charles Payne piece. We're having some issues with Twitter and the volume level of the Twitter space call transferring to my screen share. So I'm going to reset. I'm going to stay live. I'm going to reset, but get ready to go to Tara's call while I'm working this out. So
Space, and then I'm trying to look at the chart or anything like on my phone. It kicks me. It's super annoying.
yeah, like I'm only getting half volume feed from my screen share, which is really weird.
So someone just tagged me in a tweet and they said that Robinhood has changed their policy that they will allow people to buy ape. Let me see what this says. This is from Robinhood. On August 22nd, 2022, AMC Entertainment will issue a 1-for-1 special stock dividend. You'll be impacted if you hold AMC as of Friday, August 19th at 8 p.m. Here's what will happen. On August 22nd, the ex-dividend date, shareholders will receive 1 share of AMC preferred equity unit APE for every 1 share of AMC they hold. For example, if you own 5 shares of AMC, you'll receive 5 new shares of APE on August 22nd. This also applies to fractional shares. If you can continue to trade, you can continue to trade shares of AMC, you will be able to buy, hold, and sell shares of APE on Robinhood by August 22nd. We will fully support trading of APE and select preferred stocks.
You know what?
So that's different.
They want you to buy shares of preferred stock on APE so they can use your shares sitting in your account to help facilitate short sellers. I would not buy a single share from Robinhood, not a single one. I think they're just.
I think most people won't, but if you are already locked in and holding and concerned about not getting APE, then I mean. Yeah, that they didn't support preferred, whatever. So now it sounds like they are going to for Ape. But what if, I mean, I always think the worst when it comes to Robinhood. Like, what if they say now they are, and then come the day of, they're like, actually, no, we're not. I mean, it would just be so shady, but it seems, they do business that way.
Yeah.
I mean, they are under investigation. And what was that other thing with Webull? Like, a lot of people got that notification about Ape.
I don't know. I'm getting so many DMs this past week about people freaking out because they're still on Webull and Robinhood. And the main push in this community for over 16 months was get out of Webull and Robinhood. Like, it just blows my mind.
But Spence, you have to remember, okay, so I'm just going to remind you of something. A lot of people that, like, I've been frequenting crypto and NFT spaces, and most of them use Robinhood, like that, and Webull. So when they hear about AMC, they just take funds from whatever they're trading on, and they see AMC so they can go grab it. They don't necessarily understand what happened in January. I've actually had people like from the crypto communities arguing with me on how great Robinhood is on some of my more recent, anti-Robinhood kind of sentiment, and they just don't have a full understanding of, how bad they really are. Like, and but the thing is we just have to keep in mind that some people haven't been here for 16 months. Some people, and also some people just have a few shares in different brokerage apps. So there's that too.
I mean, I think I understand where they're coming from, because if they're going to be selling crypto, they don't have to pay those extra fees like for Ethereum, the gas fees and so on. But then again, you don't really own your crypto on those. So yeah, I mean, I like to hold my own, so I don't do that. I have my own ledger for that.
I'd be worried Robinhood's going to go bankrupt, man, because they are not. Going forward, I personally would not have a single asset on Robinhood unless you're just keeping it there for some type of class action later on. I'd be out of there. I think personally they're going to end up going bankrupt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would not be shocked. I mean, look what the stock's done since its IPO. I don't know what it's at now. I haven't checked lately with the market kind of recovering a bit, but I don't know. I just try to give people the benefit of the doubt and assume that if they're in Robinhood, they probably just don't have a full understanding of what took place like January last year and
See, is that Al down there? Zero, what's up? What's up, Al?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Spence?
Why do I keep having to refollow you and like 7 other people? Like every time I see you guys pop up, I gotta refollow you.
Yeah, it's Twitter sucks, man. Hey, listen, first of all, how you doing, man? Long time no speak. How you doing, Tara? What's up, Al? So we can all agree that Robinhood sucks ass. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in that app. It's too late during the squeeze for me to kind of switch brokers or whatever. I called Robinhood the other day, and they told me that the Ape shares were going to be PCO only, position close only, to kind of, put that out there, all right?
Yeah, and that's fine, man. It is definitely too late in the game. I agree with you now. Absolutely. I'm a little more aggressive on it, so I apologize if you feel like I'm coming at you. But what's going on? What's going on, Al? How you been, man?
Not too bad. Thanks so much. Listen, I'll make this really brief. When I was in Israel, I got a message from one of my buddies that said something about the DTCC going to be quasi-governmental. There's going to be more government oversight regarding the clearing agencies, especially DTCC, seeing how it's the only one. Well, are they going to start packing heat like the IRS or what? I don't know, but that is a crazy number, though. 87,000 people. I mean, that sounds like an battalion or a regiment to me. What are you going to do with 87,000 people? That's crazy to me.
That's every single one of my followers being an IRS agent and going and like bringing a gun with them to someone's door. That's crazy. I don't know if that many carry, but that's wild.
Two divisions of IRS agents is not what the American people need. But I'm moving away from the point. Listen, Hester Pierce wrote a scathing article on the 8th, and I hope everybody takes a look at this. This is what happens when the machine is fucked with. The folks over at the DTCC have very long tentacles. They're in cohesion with those people that put Hester Pierce in office because she's the mouthpiece. I'm convinced this person is not only complicit in all the latest BS that we've been seeing within all these crazy market rules like Citibank with their dark pool operations and all this other stuff, but I think she's the one leading it. I have a strange thing because every time I see something bad happen to the market that would adversely affect this squeeze, Hester Pierce is always there. She is the leading voice for the other side. And I'm getting, my stomach is sick over this woman. She's like the wife of the Antichrist or something. Every time something horrible happens, she's there. She's always around. And this latest thing just tells me everything that I've codified in my mind, that these people are going to do their absolute. She's like the wife of the Antichrist or something. Every time through, like nothing ever happened. And in trying to empower these big banks, she's making the jurisprudence, making the rule of law favorable for them. And that's all I had to say. Thanks, Spence.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, man. Good to hear from you. I totally agree with you, too. Hester Pierce, her personality and the way she's always front and center and happy to say no on new reg and certain things. I mean, you can just see she has a horribly hidden agenda. Not necessarily hidden, but the agenda you're speaking about is written all over her face. So, and her name's Hester. It's just cringy. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, Spence, you're so mean.
I am mean.
Let's invite Hester to the space to talk to us.
You can invite her to your space. I don't want to talk to her.
We can ask her why she has this glass half empty view on everything. She's just, I don't know. I feel like she's like so against the grain. Like she reminds me of some people I know in real life who just nothing is good enough. Nothing is right. It's just frustrating.
She'll end up.
When you look at her.
Go ahead, Al.
Sorry. When you look at her background and her education and everything else, she comes from a pedigree of people. Like her father, so I'm just going to be frank, I've done a lot of research on this person. Her father is actually a professor, was a professor at Princeton, and more or less what I've seen ascertained is that her father made connections within the Republican finance fold, and that's how she got this commission job. She was at one point just another crony, like a Wall Street lobbyist, I would say, in Washington, and then she kind of accelerated with Trump and so on and so forth. But her father lives one town over from where I used to live in Massachusetts. And the one thing I can tell you about Hester Pierce and the way her family is and the background I've done, she was groomed for this. She is going to go they're going to set her up for something big in the future. She's agnostic politically. When I went to her Facebook, I kind of screened through everything. Very little to indicate what her likes are, what her dislikes are. There's very little content there, which tells me that she's singular focused. She doesn't have time for distractions, that her work is everything to her. And her ultimate goal, I believe, is either going to be SEC chief or maybe head of the Fed. I don't know. But everything that I'm seeing tells me this person has to be dealt with, and we have to be on top of her ass before she posts some more garbage. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's definitely all coming to a head soon. That's for sure. This entire market shakeup that's about to happen. When you got Charles Payne out there saying it looks like the mother of all squeezes is inbound due to shady banks, brokers, and hedge funds extremely over leveraged, while SEC is investigating, more officially now, not Citadel yet, but mark my words, Citadel, Robinhood, Melvin for their risk assessment practices. You know damn well that Citadel has $65 billion in securities sold, not yet purchased. So it's crazy what's going on. And they're just waiting for the right time to say pounce, because nobody wants to be the one to crash the market, even a regulator. So now that this AMC dividend thing is happening, they've got scapegoats to go out and say, well, Adam Aaron did it, or, oh, the Bank of America did it. So there's big moves coming. Hester Pierce is going to look like the biggest ass clown ever on the internet in the history of everything, too. I mark my words on that one. If she doesn't end up getting investigated herself. What's up, Pablo?
What's going on, Spence?
How you do?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
I'm great, man. I am on cloud 9 or whatever they say. I couldn't be happier.
Hey, I just had a quick question. So I transferred out of Robinhood last year, and I left a share in there just because I had some crypto that I was trading with on there as well. But I just want to know, like, what's the animosity towards Webull? Because I transferred from Robinhood to Webull.
Just the overall same practices that Webull had on January 28th, shutting the buy button off. You know, I've heard some people transfer out of Webull, try to do from Webull to ComputerShare, and Webull liquidated their position. Like, they were like, what are you doing? And then once it happens, they don't care about you. Like, you're done. So mainly what happened is I got out of Robinhood January, whatever, February, went to Webull. Webull was just as bad. So overall, we had people in the community that led us to Fidelity, which I love now. And Fidelity lets you transfer to ComputerShare for free. And, you know, they're non-PFOF. So mainly Webull is still a PFOF broker too. So that's, you know, anytime we can get away from payment for order flow, that's a bonus to the entire community.
Gotcha. So I also have shares in Fidelity and TD Ameritrade, but with the shares that I have on Webull, what would you suggest? Like, do I need to go to Fidelity? Because I was looking at ComputerShare when I came to the call yesterday, and I do want to get over to that eventually, but I just want to wait until I get the APE dividend for that.
I wouldn't try to move anything now. It's too late. But after the 22nd and you see your APE dividend in your account, if they put it in there, I would personally move everything to Fidelity. Leave your one share in your Robinhood, because that could be legal standing for you later on. But I would move all your Webull to Fidelity, then let it clear. And then if you decide to DRS after the 22nd, which is I can't tell everybody how important DRS after the 22nd is. This catalyst of the dividend is amazing, and it's going to do some big damage. But if the float is direct registered, it will absolutely blow every single short seller apart. But if you go to Fidelity, then you can transfer to DRS for free. And they're very, very good at what they do when they do it. So
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, well, let me start out by saying, what's up, Devil Dog Al? Thank you all for
Hi, I don't exist.
No,
Wow.
I'm about to get there. Hold on a second.
Just playing, BB. I'm just playing.
Well, I gotta say what up to my devil dog Al, because I'm a Marine also. So hurrah. So thank you for
thanks for your service,
fans,
both of you guys.
Tarabull. Thank you everything that you guys do in the community. I'm pretty sure you guys see me post here and there. But my understanding, Spence, is that Adam Aaron already direct registered those shares with CompuShare, and then he's issuing out to the DTCC. If that's the case, that means that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Al or Spence or Tara, but my belief is that Adam Aaron perfectly matched the CUIP number from the regular shares with these APE shares, and only the people that have the real shares will get the APE. So if that's the case, we're talking about total destruction for these brokers and hedge funds, because they're going to have to go out there and actually buy in the open market. Now, we know that you know, Citadel, with their payment for order flow, they're going to go ahead fill it. But people are not understanding that the ones that are going to be buying it are actually the brokers having to fill those orders. So maybe we won't get our shares, And I think it's going to be the ultimate diamond hand here because those shares might be skyrocketing. And by the time that you actually get them, it might be worth a lot of money. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Adam Aaron, that's a misconception. Adam Aaron did not direct register the entire flow of AMC or APE. ComputerShare is going to facilitate the initial distribution. So anybody who's with ComputerShare, your APE shares will be direct registered. But once that's over and ComputerShare sends everything else to the DTC, they're going to go into the open market. So if you get your APE dividend in your Fidelity account, those are not direct registered.
I still think it's going to be a hell of a mess for them because I believe that they're going to have to go out there in the open market and actually buy those shares. And I don't believe that a lot of the people that have the synthetics are going to get those shares right away. So,
bro, they're going to get blown apart, man.
To be honest with you, they're really stuck in a pickle because come next week or possibly on Monday, they're going to have to make a decision here pretty soon of what exactly we're going to do. I believe that today they're trying to knock the price down because of the options. Not only that, but they're trying to figure out, and I'm pretty sure there's a boardroom somewhere. Okay, let's see if we could get this thing down to 20 or 22. Don't want to scare anybody, but it's going to come out, basically, half of whatever AMC closes on next Friday. So if they could manage to get it down, God forbid, around 15, I believe that their thinking is going to be more manageable. But I don't believe that that's the case. If we rip above 30, 40, imagine having to deal with AMC at $20 and APE at $20. Talk about talk about two short squeezes then now.
So yeah, I see that totally happening. Just to clear some things, just a couple things. The CUSIP for AMC is 165C104, and the APE preferred stock is 165C203, so they are different. But like I said, and what you said is correct, the diamond handing of APE in the first 2 weeks is super important because market makers can't get their hands on it. Therefore, they could have forced recalls from their lenders to get those shares back. Now, the big thing about it is once your shares get distributed to your brokers, say like Webull, what's to stop the Webull broker from loaning out your share and still saying you have it? That's why going direct registration after the 22nd is so important. You can direct register your APE and your AMC, which is going to put even more demand on getting those APE preferred shares because now your broker like Webull or TD or whatever public doesn't have the ability to loan that APE out.
Also, for the community, I know Al touched on it today, I believe, but in regards of the New York Stock Exchange trying to get that dark pool ready.
I tweeted about that today. I said everybody needs to keep an eye on the dark pool when this thing all starts kicking off. If they halt AMC, you keep an eye on the dark pool and see if they're trading AMC on and off the books through the dark pool, which obviously we can't do anything to stop that except record it for even more information later on when we go after these guys, because a lot of people don't like to hear it, man. But, I come out with this lawsuit stuff against the brokers, and a couple YouTubers wanted to come at me for it and try to twist my words. But mark my words, and, not even a week later, AMC announced a settlement on a derivative lawsuit. After this happens, there's going to be massive class action lawsuits against Robinhood, probably against Webull, maybe against TD, and some of these market makers. They're going to have to facilitate the wrongdoing that's been going on. So record every single thing you do once this dividend gets issued, whether you get it or not. And if your brokers give you any trouble, screenshot it, record it, write it down in a notebook with time and date, and gather all your evidence so we can blow these guys apart when the wrongdoing hits.
Yeah, I'm with TD, and I placed a call last Saturday after all the FUD that is going to come out of Payne and blah, blah, blah. So I just went straight to the source, and I talked to TD Ameritrade, and I said, am I on margin? She goes, you do have a margin account, but you're all cashed up. You don't have anything on margin. Okay, great. So what happens if I was a margin and have these stocks on margin? She did say that then they could lend out your shares.
Yep.
But I think people are failing to understand that these brokers are not gonna pay you the dividends. They're not gonna want to pay you the dividends with money that you're borrowing from them. So they may start recalling those shares.
Yep.
That's just my understanding. So that people got anybody on margin. Sorry to tell you, but you might get screwed on this. I'm not trying to create FUD, but they're going to look out for their best interest. And I think it actually says it on their policies that for any reason they could actually do a margin call on those shares, which I believe a lot of brokerages are going to do. But we'll see. Thank you for your time, guys. Okay, I'll keep listening. But thank you for everything that you guys do, okay?
Bro. Hey, Tara, Spencer, thanks so much for the voice, man. I got to get going back to work, but I appreciate it.
Have fun, man. And Busy, man, thanks for coming up. That was a pleasure talking to you. Really good conversation.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
Tara, do you want to?
No, thank you. And I was just giving you a hard time. I hope you know that. And thank you for your service. In case you didn't hear me say that.
I don't get butthurt that easy. But no, I do follow you guys, and again, I do.
Oh shoot! I thought I was following you forever. I'm following you now. I got you.
Thank you. But you know, we all got to stick together through this. We're fighting the 1%, but we are bigger. The shenanigans don't stop. But at the end of the day, I think we're all gonna be filthy rich.
Yeah.
We're gonna be well off. After this happens, I think there has to be major changes. But I believe that a lot of people are really turned off because of what's going on in the markets right now. And you know what? I don't blame them. I'm turned off of what's going on in the markets right now. But one thing that this community has done is expose the system for what it is. It's just a rigged casino right now, and they can do anything that they want. Even you can see, Spence, they're actually changing the game, changing the rules in the middle of the game. That's how bad they want to not have us win.
Absolutely. They're going to continue to change rules. And keep in mind, guys, there's going to be all kinds of fuckery. I am predicting that failure to delivers have already gone through the absolute roof this week. Next week will be even worse. They're going to use that to try to suppress everything, which is why I think the squeeze isn't going to happen all at once. It's going to happen over the period of a week or a month or 12 months like Tesla, because they're going to continuously have to cover all these massive failure to delivers in a circular fashion because they don't have the shares. They just don't have them.
I think people are also failing to understand what's going on with GameStop because they're in a similar situation. But Ryan Cohen's waiting for that 90 days. And then if he sees we already know that all of these countries are actually coming out and saying, hey, we're because the people are complaining. But I think somebody put a thread out of all the exchanges around like Hong Kong, Germany. They're saying that they can't issue out those shares because what they got wasn't the real shares, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the same thing could happen here. And I believe Adam Aaron, that's his ultimate plan. And at that point, if he does do a share recall, there's no ifs, there's no buts. The shorts have to cover.
Yep.
So again, this is the ultimate trap by Adam Aaron, and I give him some tough love sometimes, but we all agree that this was a genius move because it actually puts them in a corner. And I believe they are painted in a corner right now. And I believe they're actually trying to bring this stock down to see if maybe they could get it down to a certain level that it comes out more manageable, quote unquote manageable, because AMC at 750 and 8 by 750, you gotta agree is like more manageable for them. But if that does happen and they're stupid enough not to cover, then that means that they're going to be still short on AMC. And then they're going to go crazy trying to get those 8 shares to deliver them to the rightful owner, which is the lender. So I believe today is their game plan to try to get these calls out of the money. But also a lot of these brokerages, this is just my feeling, are waiting to see where the price ends at a certain point. And if it goes over that amount that I'm telling you, I believe is going to be maybe $40, then they're going to say, nope, we got to cover because we can't have, be on also on a damn short on AMC, and then we got to cover these 8 shares at $20. That's just my belief and my feeling, but we'll see. Thank you guys. I'm gonna shut up right now, and then I'm just gonna listen to you guys.
Now, total pleasure, man. Thank you for coming up. I agree with like almost every single thing you said. So I think you're going to see institutions cannibalize each other trying to get these 8 preferred shares, it's going to be hilarious. So, Tara, did you want to start your call, or how do you?
I think we should just stay in here because you've got like 200 people in here now, and just hang out. And I'll cancel that one since you started this one, and then if you can get that Liz Clayman thing, I don't know where to even go for that, but she's gonna be on in about 13 minutes.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Everybody's here for you anyways, Tara.
Title. What'd you say?
Everyone's here for you anyways.
No, they're here for AMC. If I just start a space and title it all about Tara, like no one's gonna come to that. They just want to hear about AMC.
I don't believe
Let's be honest. Amy's the attraction.
Oh man, I'm so just disgruntled that I love calling AMC Amy, but it just bothers me because of that trader.
Yeah, but what's hilarious is so whenever we were talking about Amy, like referring to AMC, Amy literally thought we were talking about her. Like, I'm like, bro, everything is not about you. Like, I promise, girl.
You guys want to hear something funny?
Yes.
The other day, when AMC was going up, I was like, "Come on, Amy, let's go, Amy. Come on, Amy." And my wife comes in and she's like, "It's Amy." The other day, when AMC was going up, I was like, "Come on, Amy, let's go, Amy. Come on, Amy." And my wife comes in and she's like, "It's Amy."
She thought you were cheating on her right in the other room. Like, who the hell is Amy? Get out of my house. That's wild. That's wild. That's hilarious. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's funny, because I tweeted one time, I said, I was drinking a little bit, and I said, you know, Amy's like, I'm throwing dollar bills at Amy like she's the only girl in a strip club, and they tried to make it like, oh, Tommy's talking about Amy being a stripper, and he's such a bad person. And I'm like, it's like,
exactly.
This song is not about you.
It's not. It's literally AMC. Like, we've called AMC Amy forever. Like, yeah, that's wild. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, Liz Clayman. Let me pull her up. All right, YouTube TV. What's she going to talk about, Tara?
I don't know. Maybe AMC. Let me see. She tweeted something about it.
You know what's funny? I don't hear Asperino talking shit anymore about us. So.
Hey, I
he ain't
watch
got nothing
like
to say.
every minute bar, and I always look and confirm on different time frames. So I'm watching right now. If anybody has the chart up, you should pull up the MACD on the weekly chart of AMC. It is retardedly more bullish than March was.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's looking absolutely delicious. The MACD on the 31 and the 2 hour are all about to flip. And then the weekly is just ripping. It's gorgeous. So
Wrench had a review last night. He was talking about a $2 move in either direction. So approximately 27-ish or approximately 22-ish from 25. That's what the option chain was closing in. Like a $6 or $7 move at least.
Hopefully playing this clip. And I think she's going live. Like, I don't think it's a clip. I think it's just going to be happening in about 10 minutes. But it was just in regard to AMC. She retweeted CEO Adam. Luckily, she retweeted the one avatar picture because I don't know if Adam realized the meme behind the other one, but someone put it in the comments. I was dying. I was like, bro, do you understand where this... We got to call him Big Blue now. Oh my goodness. It's wild. I love that he retweeted it, though. Like, I think he knew. I don't know. I do. Maybe. That's even worse. Honestly, I think it's almost worse if he knew, because then I'm like, wait a minute. It's hilarious. Yeah, he cracks me up sometimes.
Oh shit! What's up, Mark? How you doing?
Well, I just got out of therapy and they put in the other 5 Innovix batteries into my right arm, so I'm feeling pretty bionic.
Well, congratulations to you guys on that Innovix run, man. That was beautiful.
You ain't seen nothing yet, homeboy.
I agree. I've read the tech.
I think when the chairman of the company puts out a video putting a nail through your traditional battery, catches on, and then they put a nail through his battery, which is still working, and it doesn't care.
Is he breaking up, or is it just me?
I'm
breaking up.
Oh, sorry. Maybe it was just on my end. My bad. Sorry, Mark. Go for it.
Mark, I clearly see
I just
these.
think that's, I hope.
Go ahead.
Hello? I just hope people think things through. That's all, because it's all there for the taking.
Well, when these augmented reality glasses start coming out from companies like Apple and such, Innovix is going to be one of the only ones with the proper battery tech for it. So
they're the only ones with the battery. So we'll see. So far, so good. I haven't gotten out any. So that's my thought there. And I have the batteries put in both arms. So I feel like I can, walk on my hands, lift a car. I think I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better.
battery operated arms. There's so much potential.
So can I just give a simple thought without getting in trouble?
I mean, I don't care what you say, but if you act up, Tara's gonna just scorch earth you. So
I get that.
I could just sit here and interrupt you over and over. Oh wait,
like, oh hey, there's somebody more important down there that wants to talk, so we should cancel everything everybody's saying and bring them up. Sorry, Mark. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Okay, go Mark. Go for it.
So all I want to say is I'm a skeptical person. Everyone knows that. I believe things are rigged. Everyone knows that. And I believe the system always protects itself, a la the pulling of the buy button. And I think Adam Aaron gave the system a warning that in 2 weeks, he's going to run a drug test. And if he gives the drug dealers a warning he's running a drug test, I don't think you'd be that stupid to do drugs in front of the drug test. So if he says in 2 weeks we're running this program and there are still naked or systematic shorts out there, I would be very surprised. And I'm very leery of him, and I'm very leery of dilution, and I'm very leery of dilution into a report that there's no systematic naked shorts. And if that's the case, the stock will get destroyed. And I just don't want people who I like losing. I have zero position. I will never have a position, but I've seen this time and time again, and I think I see the setup here. And that's all. That's all.
Marc, always with the good news.
Well, so here's my question, Mark. If the opposite happens, and it ends up panning out, and it does, reveal some major problems as far as synthetics or naked shorting, and the thing just absolutely squeezes, will you be willing to come back here and, kind of admit you're wrong?
I will say, A, I'm dead wrong, and B, I'll say I totally misread the situation. But there's ways to play it, If the risk is too much, you sell your stock and buy calls, or sell your stock and short puts, or there's ways to hedge yourself out. But just all I want people to do is close their eyes and think that this system has tried to save itself and cover up the issues for a very long time. a very long time. And if I was on drugs.
Right, I get what you're saying, Mark, and it makes sense. And it is, I think that's the fear that a lot of people are having. But my other counter to what you're saying is that we don't always 100% get it right. And I could use, Bed Bath and Beyond as an example, as we're seeing this huge run on that stock since you've sort of been going at Ryan Cohen and calling that place, like saying that they're going bankrupt and all of this. But there's still this potential for a squeeze there. So if anyone listened, and didn't buy or sold, they're missing out on quite a bit of money on that run.
Understand, I'm not in anything to play a squeeze. And squeezes come and squeezes go, and it all happens, and you can't be greedy. I get all that. That's fine. I still think that BBBBBBBBY goes bust. I still think that. That doesn't mean it won't go to 20 first. A lot of stocks double and triple on their way to zero. All I want to simply say is, I believe in the rig. I believe bad guys cover for bad guys. I believe what happened January 28th is now all of a sudden going to get revealed. However, it's 19 or 20 months past time. All I want to say is, I don't trust Adam Aaron as far as I could throw him. I don't trust this setup. I don't trust the early warning. And I'm just saying, be on your toes here. That's all. And if you're on your toes, you're on your toes. But
my question is for you. Do you think that this early warning is what is sort of driven some of the price action we're seeing?
109.99%. I think if you're an NFL player at an elite level and someone leaks to you, they're going to drug test you on Thursday the 24th. You better not be doing drugs into Thursday the 24th. And then you pass the drug test and the coast is clear. And again, I could be dead wrong. I don't think so. I think I'm 100% right. I have zero position. I'm not going to take a position. But I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up. And I'm glad it's being recorded. So whenever someone wants to troll me, I'll say play the videotape, just like he can replay the Portnoy podcasts and the letters and everything else. Replay it, but I just do not like this setup at all. I hate it.
Can I hop on here for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it okay? Okay. Hey, Mark, you're not totally wrong, and I believe that that's what's wrong with the system right now. That a lot of people are afraid to stay in a stock because they know the dump is coming. So, Boss Blunt said it best. If buying and holding breaks the system, then the system was broken to begin with. I mean, that's a great quote. If Adam Aaron gets this right, and I believe that he is actually doing it right, I think this will be the blueprint for many CEOs that know that their stock or the company is heavily shorted and under attack to do the same. I mean, I almost want to say that this is just a test bed. I mean, you're saying a drug test. This is the drug test right here. But you're not totally wrong. I still believe that these hedge funds and these brokers are really stuck in a corner and stuck in a pickle. So again, this is going to be the blueprint if it does work for other companies to follow along of what Adam Aaron has done.
Jose Rivera on YouTube just said this is more like a hair follicle test than a piss test. So, but yeah, Mark, I totally agree with you too. I've just told people today, watch the failure to delivers for the next 2 weeks just go through the freaking roof. So.
Just everyone be on their toes. I hear what you're saying. I think there's something better coming. I can't get into it. And to understand how the dynamics in the system works, I think can kind of reveal that although the effort may be there, the way he's doing this is beyond half-assed.
I'll make you a gentleman's bet, Mark. We'll say if AMC just squeezes out because of this event, you buy me a keg of beer from where you're at, and if I lose, I'll buy you a keg of craft beer from where I'm at. How about that?
I'll make it better. If I'm right, I will come visit you with a keg of beer of your choice from your area. And if I'm right, you come and visit me with a keg of beer from my choice.
Wait, I think in both scenarios you said you were gonna be right.
I'm simply gonna tell you I'm right before the answer is revealed because I'm very familiar with the way these diabolical fucks work.
I'll take that back.
Okay.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark, if I could ask, what exactly has kind of got your hair standing on end about the deal? I mean, without getting into too much of the weeds, why is it that you feel that this is a giant F you from Adam Aaron?
Well, that's a good question. I have my hair in the weeds about Canada where I didn't stand a profit, and it turned out that they're only laundering money to 50 times the amount I said. And when I said it, people thought I was out of my mind. Here's the deal. Everyone on this call works hard for what they have, right? None of you, I think, have inherited a great sum of money. None of you, I think, are worth a great sum of money. You've worked hard to get where you're at. This is an enrichment scheme to pay off the bond guys who he's in bed with, like Mudrick, at the expense of you all. Flat fucking out, okay? It goes from the equity guys to the bond guys who he's in bed with. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate that he doesn't come clean with it. I hate he doesn't answer questions. I hate that he talks out of all sides of his mouth. I hate it. Okay? So that's why I speak out. This is a half-assed deal with no details of what's coming, and I don't like it. And every now and then, someone on this fucking earth can speak out on something they don't like where they don't stand to profit from it. I'm profiting plenty from Innovix. Plenty.
Mark, yeah, I agree, Mark. I just, really quick, I just...
I gotta get out of here. From 3 to 120, profited.
Oh my gosh.
Don't interrupt me until I'm done.
Mark,
okay?
I'm trying.
I mean, whoever's trying to interrupt me.
Someone was trying to say that they're jumping off the call.
Tara,
but I think, I don't know if it's on my end or if it's on his end, but he keeps cutting out. Do you hear that, Spence?
Shorting problems? Or let's give it everybody, I'll mute everybody and we'll try to, just give me like 2 seconds. All right, go for it.
I was just gonna say something, but go ahead, Mark, if you're still, yeah, it's cutting out bad. Okay, well, since he's cutting out, hopefully he can hear us. Spence, can you hear him or is it just on my end? Help me out here.
No, he's cutting out.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
He's cutting out. Mark, you're cutting out real bad.
I was just going to say, since, Mark, you're breaking up a bit, if you can hear me, that a lot of, shareholders, people who are long on AMC are actually excited about the debt being paid down. I think that's something that they see as bullish. So I don't know, if you have an argument for that, but the less debt, the better on the books, right? So even if that's Adam's diabolical plan, I don't think people necessarily are viewing it as diabolical. I don't know if people are necessarily afraid of him, proceeding and making the company that much better fundamentally.
So I talked to Porter earlier today. Is this better?
Yes.
Much better. Do you hear me better?
Did you hear what I said, Mark, by chance?
I heard what you said. I talked to Porter earlier, and here's the problem with that. So let's say at the end of the day, there's going to be 1 billion shares out, right? Roughly 1 billion shares. There's 500 now. So he's going to issue 500 million more shares, and he's going to pay down the debt. Let's say he pays down all of it or a fraction thereof. And there's no short squeeze at play, right? There's no synthetic shorts or there's no naked shorts. And it comes out that everything is as normal. Then the play becomes a fundamental play. And next year, his revenue and earnings are going to suck.
Okay, well, first of all, as long as there's people shorting, there's still a short squeeze at play, and there are plenty of people who short AMC. And second of all, what makes you think that next year's earnings are going to be worse than this year's, or going to suck, in your words?
Because he doesn't have Top Gun walking through the door next year.
Yeah, but Mark, what you're not taking into consideration or account is the fact that movie studios have recognized how much of a loss they take when they simultaneously release movies on the big screen and streaming. And now many have agreed to these 45-day windows that we'll see all year next year.
I'll give you whatever assumptions you want. All I'm
That's not an assumption. That's what's changed. That's a huge change in the way movies are being released.
Well,
that's no assumption.
Don't forget either, the branded credit card could easily bring in $1 billion by itself next year. When you got 59 people coming to the movie theaters in Q2, branded credit cards could bring in major cash.
Mark, do you got puts on AMC right now? Just out of curiosity.
On my son's head, he's the person I hold most dearly in this world. I have 0 puts and 0 short in AMC. And you all can, everything's fine. And every assumption is fine. Okay? All I'm simply trying to say is, I don't like this setup into the deal. Everyone likes the setup into the deal. I hate the setup into the deal. And that is I have a strong view. I don't need to profit on AMC one way or the other. I have Enovix, okay? That's more than taking care of me, my family, and everyone who I know. And I'll say that 100 fucking times. And don't fucking question my integrity when I say something, because I speak the fucking truth.
No one is effing questioning your integrity, so calm your tits, because all that was asked with a giggle was, are you short AMC? So please calm down.
I don't know,
and
Mark.
don't start with the profanities. It's ridiculous.
Tara, I don't know, Mark. Mark, can you fill us in to some people that don't know you? What is your background?
No, I'm not worried. No, look it up. I got on. I'm coming from therapy. I have my bionic batteries implanted. I figure I'd give everyone a thought to think of over the weekend. Take the time and look me up if you want. This is not biography day.
Well, I mean, do you have a financial background? That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'm familiar with this world. I think your assumptions, Tara and Spence, are totally fine, and I can agree with them.
What assumptions?
Your assumption that things aren't going to be streamed, that it's going to be box office only, and he's going to get a kick from the credit card. No problem. That's fine. I have a problem what box office is going to look like in 23 versus 22 because the compares are difficult. I got a problem with dilution. I got a problem paying off his buddies who are bondholders. That's my problem. And if it turns out that there isn't a squeeze, 80% of the retail holder base is in this for a squeeze. And if he comes out and he says there's no crime in the casino and everything settles as normal, it's going to be a very difficult stock to make money in going up, especially if there's 1 billion shares out versus 500,000 shares out.
Hey, Mark.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Mark, I have a question for you. You made an interesting statement there, and I just wanted to kind of dialogue it if we could. You said most of retail investors are in it for a squeeze. Do you think that all retail investors are in all of their positions just for a squeeze, or do you think that there's anything to 21st century young investor activism investing, for lack of a better term? I can remember the days when we watched, Toys R Us and Radio Shack squeezed out of business. And my personal opinion, being someone who's long in AMC, is that there's a certain percentage, and I don't know what it is, but there's a certain percentage of people that look at this more of this is revenge for putting my favorites out of business. You're not going to get rid of my movie theaters. Not, I want to make, $1 million and buy a Lambo. While it'd be nice, I think there's a certain number of people that think the opposite. What are your thoughts on that?
Totally possible. It's, that's fine, but I don't want the revenge motive to get too expensive. Afford to lose money.
But coming from a crowd of people who, to your point a few minutes ago, have always been poor, have always been broke, have always not had money, we don't come from money, we don't have anything to lose substantially. We're throwing in FU money. We're throwing in, I would have gone out on, I would have gone to the movies, I would have gone to the weekend at the beach, I would have bought a couple of cases of beer and barbecued. Very few people are saying, I'm going to take my life savings and YOLO it into this. There are some, to be sure, but I don't think that's what a vast majority of the retail market is doing. I think that's what, the early Robinhood crowd probably did, and that's probably what the Wall Street Bets crowd does, but I don't think that's the same class of people.
It could be. You could very well be right. You could very well be right. But I'd rather own this, if you want to own it, at 10 rather than 25. And then that way you can buy twice as much.
We did.
And if it goes,
we actually.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. All I'm trying to say is there's an event coming up, and I think it's August 22nd, something like that. There's an event coming up. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be a reset kind of event, and I just wouldn't be passive about it. If you really think the thing squeezes and squeezes hard, you buy more. If you think it's a fizzle, I would get the hell out before. But I'm thinking the way it, is hitting me is I think the odds are very great. It's going to be a huge fizzle.
Did you hear about Tiger Global being down 65%?
Yeah, I think they're down a whole lot more than 65%, frankly. I think they're, if they mark their privates right, I think they're down probably 88%. Again, did I not call and say Melvin's breaking the law and criminals before anyone on this planet?
Months ago.
Did I not?
Months ago,
more than years ago. Was I not the first to call out Tiger Global of anyone?
It is recorded.
Right. So I think I know my way around the block. I think I've earned a few stripes in at least calling a few things. Well, and I think I pointed over the right field wall in Enovix and put it over the roof. And I just want everyone to think it all through. That's all I want. Everyone does whatever they want to do. It's your own money. You've earned it, however you've earned it, and God bless you. But I wanted it completely off my chest, so no one says, "How come you didn't say anything?"
Absolutely.
I want it real clear. I care for most of you. I can't stand a few of you, and it is what it is. It is what it is.
Mark, let me just say really quick, the one thing that I think that you can say you've been around the block and you can say, and I appreciate that and I appreciate the value you bring with your experience, but I would argue that this is different than anything that anyone has ever seen before, in the way that, there's this situation going on with this number one trending, number one talked about, number two Googled thing last year, which is AMC stock, and this army of retail investors. And you have like Bank of America, for example, coming out and saying, we need retail to sell. We need them to get out of here, essentially. And it's like, why, no one, it doesn't seem, every time these arguments sort of come up, no one takes into account and into consideration how diamond-handed the people holding this thing truly are. So I think that's something that has been underestimated repeatedly and sort of gotten people into trouble because of that. And if you look at Jim Cramer's tweets about BBBY, and I'm not comparing you to him, but you were making some pretty negative comments about it too. And then you look at, what's happening with this, it's like squeezing right now. It's a little bit, yeah, you get it right sometimes, but not 100% of the time. And so I think, it's just been heavily underestimated how much effect retail investors actually do have on these plays. And yeah, I don't know. I know you've seen a lot in your day, and I know you've been around the block, but I don't know if you can truly say you've seen a phenomenon like this.
That'd be considered FUD, what he's talking about. I mean, I'm a big boy, and I don't need somebody.
No, I don't think he's talking FUD, right? I mean, he's got the chops, he's got the credentials, and he comes from a position of knowledge. My question would be, is the new class of ape investor, retail activism investor, something that's simply not understood because the market has so long been controlled by the major Wall Street elite investment groups? We're looking at, reinventing, for lack of a better term, reinventing the wheel here. You've got a bunch of people who don't have Harvard degrees, who didn't go to financial school, who don't have 20 years experience at a brokerage house. We don't have years in a boiler room, who literally, by using a very basic philosophy of buy and hold, beating Wall Street at their own game. Yes, there are people that are in it short term. I just put up a tweet earlier this morning myself, and I don't tweet a lot. I don't talk a lot. I just haven't enjoyed these spaces recently. But I'm averaging up, not down. I know a lot of people that bought in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I'm still buying, I'm averaging up.
I plan on buying more Monday too. This is the final dip buy I was talking about in my last video and tweet. Monday I'm going to be dropping 4 to 5K if it's under $25, because I think the event is coming.
I got something to say. Mark, I got a question for you, Mark.
He's not in here. I think he dropped.
He left, and I think he left because he saw me, because he's. I would love to know how being around the block.
No. He left because he was scared of me and what I was saying. I'm just playing. I'm pretty sure he lost. I'm pretty sure, Mr. Burp, that he lost connection. He was in a really bad connection zone.
I mean, he said he may have, but he says that he cares about us so much. I would love to know how being around the block is such a reliable method for predicting the future. I mean, if he cares about us so much, why doesn't he show us his prediction methods?
Well, I was going to ask him.
He was one of the evil ones for many, many years.
Yeah, I was going to ask him, does he like what Wall Street is doing to a lot of these American companies? He should be.
He hates it.
If he's not, then he should be for us, because I understand that a lot of us are not knowledgeable in financials like he may be. That's why I asked him what is his background, because I don't know him.
Let me give you some background.
Listen to me really quick. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I think the big assumption here is that he's not for us. And that's a huge assumption to make.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's against retail. I don't think he's against us at all.
That's what I wanted to ask him, because if he was, then our movement, because a lot of us could agree. I mean, we came here for the money, but we stay for the revolution, per se. And a lot of us are taking it to the heart because we feel like we're actually in a damn financial war. And actually, it is kind of like a financial war against the 1%. So what was my question for him. Is he for us or against us?
So in that war, his fear is that they will use many tactics against us and hurt us. And so his concern is, with this much warning, he just expressed it pretty clearly, and people can see it as FUD or whatnot, but he makes some pretty valid points. I do think he underestimates the power of retail, that so many have made the mistake of underestimating, because they've never seen this phenomenon.
Marc's been one of the biggest advocates of taking action for January 28th, besides Dave Lauer, on Twitter. He owned over $2 million worth of AMC shares at around, $60 a share, put this idea forward for, a 1-to-1 dividend, but through a security token, which got publicly shut down by Adam Aaron. And then from there, we went from 60 down to like $39 or even lower. So Marc
we were around 40 and we dropped down to around 20 right away.
There you go. Yeah.
Right away, the stock split nearly in half, and he lost a pretty good chunk of change. And he obviously has a sore spot for Adam because of the way that went down. But at the same time, I get where he's coming from with why he thinks this methodology would be bad, because you're essentially asking the criminals to handle this situation with care and properly and not be criminals. You know what I mean? These are the same people who have been screwing us over all along, and now we're passing the baton to them and saying, here, issue us this dividend and do it fairly. What have they done fairly this entire time?
Well,
so I get exactly where you're coming from.
Hold
and
on.
it's honestly been my fear for a while. So, I mean, but at the same time, I haven't been here this long just to give up right before the finish line.
Yeah, it's just his
Marc
opinion.
Cohodes? Is that his name? Marc Cohodes?
It's just his
Yeah,
opinion.
Cohodes.
It doesn't relate to any of our opinion here. But even after he lost that money, he still came out and was working with Elizabeth Warren's office on trying to push Discovery on January 27th. He might not like the CEOs and he's very rough around the edges, but in my personal opinion, he is very much for retail corrections in the market to facilitate more fair markets, and especially for retail. But obviously he has, you know, his issues with Adam Aaron and Ryan Cohen, which I don't support that, whatever. I think that Marc is probably going to owe me a keg of beer at the end of all this. So I think that's what's going to happen there.
He says he's back in the space and he's trying to get up here, but I can't see him. Spence, if you can invite him up, we might need to drop people down. I'm not sure.
Hey, Mr.
I know who he is now. I know who he is now. I wasn't sure who he was, so now I know.
Bert, can you co-host?
I mean, I guess so. I don't really know very much about spaces, but I'd like to say that it might be wishful thinking, but, you know, I'd really like to think that on the back end of all this, Adam Aaron has had analysts looking at this for months, you know, guys that you know, really worked all of the mathematics and system analysts out and figured out that that there's no holes in this. I mean, I would love for it to be that way, and I would have to imagine that there's got to be something to that, maybe.
Going forward, for any more conversation about this, as soon as somebody starts attacking another person or whatever, I'm going to instantly mute it. But we can have an open conversation on this. And like I said, personally, me, been engaged with Marc for over 12 months now, I can tell you that he is very much for fixing markets to be more fair. If you guys look through his tweets and watch what he tweeted about the London Metals Exchange, January 28th, everything about these hedge funds just screwing people over. He may not like Adam Aaron or Ryan Cohen, or he may not agree with the play anymore, but he is very much for fixing markets. So I'm just putting that as my personal statement on there. So, but we can open this conversation back up. He's back up here now.
I'm back here, and the other thing is, I know how the game's played, and I know how these guys rig things, and I think Tara hit it. You know, if you tell the drug addict you're drug testing him in 2 weeks, the guy's not taking drugs. And Adam's given these guys the playbook. He's an Apollo guy. He's a corporate guy. He bent over backwards and screwed retail to help Mudrick, his buddies, and he's going to pay off the bond guys to some degree at the expense of retail. And you heard it here, and it's recorded. And all I want from it, other than a keg of beer from Spence, is a kind word, and some of you trolls will get what you truly deserve. I hope no one loses money. I hope everyone figures it out. But this concern is very real. And it's one thing to be in it because your heart's in it and you want to be in it, but, you know, there's going to be an expense. And only lose, you know, what you stand to lose. Don't have in here money thinking that this is going to go to 1,000 and you're hitting a lottery ticket, because he's tipped his hand and these guys have set up their books accordingly. And they're far sophisticated than me, and I know this business quite well, and they're sure far more sophisticated than you all. So, you know, it's just be very, very, very careful. And I think it's a dangerous, dangerous time. And again, this thing's recorded, and history will say I'm either really right or really wrong. But I hope it works out for the best for everyone. That's all. And in terms of pulling for retail, I've always said to all these talking heads that retail has outperformed Melvin, retail's outperformed Tiger, retail's outperformed D1. I think you all are far better investors than these clowns. And I wish you, and I hope nothing but the best. But you're betting against a rigged deck.
And if you don't think you're betting against a rigged deck, you're sadly confused. But the regulars know my view clearly. So, that's that.
So Mark, I have a question for you. You mentioned the rigged deck, right? And the deck is apparently rigged on both sides. So if you're dealing with a rigged deck on both sides, how do you play?
That's a really good question. And the simple answer is you don't. You don't get into a rigged game. You don't get into something like this that you know is rigged and you have no jump. You get into names where you think you have a fundamental edge. Because if you have a fundamental edge and Enovix announces they have a battery deal with Tesla, the stock is going to go through the roof. And whoever's shorted, and there's 14 million of them, will be destroyed. And when people were shorting it at 9, I said, short all you want, guys. Just keep selling it, right? Just keep selling it. Because you don't know what the hell is going on. And
Mark.
it becomes.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
It becomes
Mark,
right.
Mark, I have a question for you. Do you really think that Adam, when he went through the COVID period and tried to save a theater company, got back like a year later with awesome figures, is trying to do something bad to his own project? That's just an question I want to ask you.
First of all, you guys saved this company. He didn't save his company. If you guys didn't ante in and support the stock in the company, he'd be out of a job. That's a fact. So his saving the company is BS. You guys saved the company, period. And if you had to do it again, you do it again, but you guys saved the company. Second of all, he's a corporate guy who wanted to pay himself, $20 million last year, and thank God it got voted down. So he wanted to pay himself a ridiculous sum of money. He's also doing this as a backdoor way of raising money and paying down some debt, which is fine. But understand, there is no good dilution. There is no bad dilution. It's just dilution. And dilution, if you own common equity, is not a good thing. Now, you can say he's paying off debt, and paying off debt is good. That's fine. But there's going to be more shares. So there's less of the company's equity assets or what have you available to you. So dilution, if you own any stock, is not good. I don't care who you are. If Enovix dilutes me, that's not good. If they say they're using the money to build a fab, I could understand it. But no equity holder in their right mind ever wants to be diluted. Never. Okay?
Can you explain why AMC ran on the 28th and on what was it, the 2nd or the 3rd, right, following dilution in both cases?
Well, obviously the people who were short the stock didn't get enough to cover, and he gave all the deal to Mudrick and other guys.
Mark, you're rugging again, buddy.
Okay. Hey, how's that? Is that better? There you go.
Just like old times.
And, the market's a tricky deal, and sometimes it doesn't work right. And the market's efficient. And just because the stock moves for a few days doesn't mean everything's fixed, and doesn't mean everything's right. It doesn't mean everything's okay.
So that goes back to the rigged deck theory, right? And I wanted to kind of dig in on that for just a second. So, for example, you're talking about Enovix and the big run they had because of the release of their battery. So it was a good play based on what was expected to be good performance. I look back a couple of years, I look at things like, CCIV, which became Lucid, competitor to Tesla. Or you look at the Tesla stock, not the Tesla stock, but the Nikola stock that was supposed to be a provider of electric batteries for the electric industry that turned out to have a bunch of, bullshit information behind it. So, again, I go back to, if this is supposed to be a quote-unquote free market system, and yet everything is built around keeping the average everyday person out of the system, how do we as average everyday people get to play? There's got to be some way of doing it. And if it's backing up what we have our heart in and throwing some money at it, and even if it does pay off his bond buddies, if we happen to make some money in the process because we're screwing over some of the shorts, then more power to us, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're right and that's the way you believe it, which is not the way I see it, good luck. You can be right. You know, I'm not right all the time. I mean, you could be right. I think you're dead wrong.
So how do shorts escape it? How do the shorts escape it then? Or do you not believe there are shorts?
Do you want me to simply say how do the shorts escape it? I mean, do you want me to make it really easy for you? Let's say I'm short 1 million shares of AMC, right? And let's say I'm legally borrowed. I'm legally borrowed through Goldman Sachs. If I'm legally borrowed with that, I get my APE, right, the day it comes out. Because if Fidelity's loaning my shares, I get their APE that comes with it. I get the full Monty, right?
Cool. Yep.
I get the full Monty. Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
So the legal shorts will have APE to deliver and aren't a problem.
I have a question. Wait a second, Mark. My understanding.
Please don't interrupt me. Okay.
No, but I have a question.
Hold on a minute, guys.
Just let him finish his. It's too challenging when there's interruptions right in between. Just let him finish what he's saying. It becomes really hard to keep your train of thought.
Mark, go ahead, finish what you were saying, bud.
If you're legally short this, you will get the APE to deliver. You will get it, okay? If you're not legally short this, if you're a market maker, if you're an exempt, if you're a synthetic, if you're whatever, you don't have it to deliver, right? The first day this thing trades, you buy it in the market and deliver what you get in the market because this thing will trade. And you deliver it. You may be a day late in delivering it, but so what? It'll deliver because this thing will be available. So if I am illegally short AMC right now, naked, the day this thing trades on the 22nd, I buy the shares at the market in the open, and this will trade. It'll trade tens of millions of shares day one. You simply buy the APE share, the new, and it delivers. It delivers through the system. And then, then everything will settle out because APE shares will trade. APE shares will trade. And if you're offsides on APE shares, you go and buy them day one they trade. Okay? And then Adam Aaron will come out blank weeks afterwards and say, hey, I'm standing in the cornfield. There are no systematic shorts. We're happy and we're diluting the shit out of you. Okay? That is what's coming, gang. That's coming. Just like the hurricane comes in New Orleans, this is what's coming. Because if you're
so I just have to stop you really quick and just say the things that Mark is stating in this call are his opinions. It doesn't mean it's mine. It doesn't mean it's Vince's. I'm willing to entertain people's opinions and not live in an echo chamber personally. But these are just Mark's opinions, just like his opinion next year is that AMC won't be doing well, fundamentally based on the movies that will be released.
Exactly. But I've only been to the rodeo for 41 years. And I've had horns pushed through my ribs, and I've had my legs broken.
And in the rodeo, have you ever seen something like this?
Of course I have.
You've seen retail jump on a stock the way they have on AMC. Please give me an example anytime.
No, I haven't seen retail, but here's the whole thing, right? If retail is in the stock because of this systematic fail bet, right now, in my opinion, right, it's a really bad bet. It's a really bad bet.
Can I ask you a question?
In 10 seconds. Because you eloquently stated you are counting on criminals to do the right thing to cover for criminals. You're counting on people who've never played it straight in their lives to people who've never played it straight in their lives to bend over backwards and for the first time in their lives to help you folks out. And that is a bet I would never, ever, ever make. Because the Crims are going to be Crims, and they've screwed you guys all the way along. And they're not going to stop now. It's 100% my opinion. I think I'm 109% right. Time will tell. But I'm sitting there raising my hand and saying, folks, know what you're involved in here and know what can happen. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
I think
for everyone new, I have no puts. I am not short the stock. I do not financially benefit if it goes up, down, or sideways. I'm doing this 100% to clear my conscience. So I can say I've given everyone fair warning of what I believe. Because you know what? My opinion in this thing matters, and everyone else has not been through 41 years of rodeos where they've been gored, beaten up, run over, and left for dead.
Fair enough.
I've been left for dead. Okay?
So, but my question is, you've been in this for 41 years, so you certainly know the fundamental predicate for the stock market, right? Fundamentally, investors give money to a company, and then that company turns around and makes that capital work for them so that they get a return on their investment. I'm not saying that it works like that, but that's how it's supposed to work, right? In a distilled manner. So when you're talking about the fundamentals of AMC, wouldn't it be fair to say that retail is the fundamentals of AMC? And there's 4 million of us. We have infinite money because a lot of us have jobs and we're buying it all the time. So if you're my question is how can you say that AMC has weak fundamentals when retail is the fundamentals?
Absolutely.
And we are the unforeseen force that has been, dominating the scene. I mean, and like you said, Mark, Tiger Global and several others, Melvin, they're all suffering because of what was unforeseen. That's why I say this is unpredictable.
And all I'll say is, if that's your bet, that's fine. And I wish everyone well. I really do.
But it's not just a bet, Mark. It's not just a bet. That's fundamentally.
Let's
one at a time, please.
Let's get one thing square. Whenever you invest in a stock, bond, option, commodity, Bitcoin, currency, anything, it's a bet. There's no sure thing. It's a bet. It's a risk. It's a gamble. It's a bet. So don't say it's not.
It's not that. It's technology. It's a technology.
Can tell me it's a shower.
If investment is a fundamental, right? It's a technology. It's not a bet. If investment, right? If a large capital investment is a fundamental, then retail is a fundamental. It's not a bet. It's a tautology.
I feel like we're just arguing semantics, and there's two other people with their hands up. So can they ask a question really quick?
Let's move on. AMC Alex, go ahead, and then Jenna E, you can go.
Hey, just 3 quick points. One, Spence, thank you for everything you do. I may not agree with everything you say, but it allows me to critically think and really dig deeper, into everything.
That's
so
such a weird way to start off a statement on a space. I'm so sorry. I just have to cut you off right there and just say, if you're being welcome to come up here and have an opportunity to speak, don't line it with, I don't always agree with what you say when a host is letting you come up to have a word. And don't talk over me when I'm talking. As the co-host, I have the power to remove you from the space. So please have some respect.
It's okay.
I will. What I meant by that
it's extremely disrespectful. It really is.
What I meant by that was it allows me to critically think because it doesn't allow me to just use my own thought. So what Spence puts into that allows me to, do my research and look into what he says. So it allows me critical thinking. The second point I wanted to make.
Do you have a question for Mark?
Well, that'll be my third point. My second point was, Tara, thank you for everything, you've helped me with. You've created my the gold profile for me. And the other night I heard what Trader was saying, how you helped him through his tough times, and you're an amazing person. So I wanted to thank you for that.
I appreciate it.
And I never got to speak with you, and personally thank you for that. And as far as Mark, we all have our opinions on this play. I do believe that retail is a huge fundamental on this play, and you do have your opinions, and that's okay. And that's the beauty of this market. We can all have differing opinions, and it will play out to where it plays out. But I just wanted to come up and even though Tara, you may think I was attacking Spence, I really wasn't. I was thanking him because it got me thinking, with different things like DRS, things that I may not have had, thoughts of before, to really dig deep in it, and to thank you for everything you've done. So that's really what I wanted to come up and say, and I'm not here to argue or give fundamentals or give reasons why, I believe AMC is going to go to this and that. I do believe in the fundamentals of the company as they continue to increase. I do believe in our CEO and what he's doing. I do also see, and I'm going to be fair, I see, where Mark is coming from as far as dilution and everything else. However, I do take I'm heavily invested in AMC for my own personal reasons. But again, I just wanted to come up and say thank you to both of you. And again, Tara, I never got to speak with you personally. I've DM'd you, and thank you for what you've done for me. And I just wanted to personally come up and finally speak with you and say thank you.
Well, thank you, Alex. And I wasn't trying to cut you off, but it is an undermining statement when you step up in someone's space and they've allowed you the platform and the time out of their day to say, I don't always agree with you, or I may not always agree with you. It's just something, and this goes for anyone who comes to a space and has something to say. It is an undermining statement, and I don't know if people really understand how that sort of plants the seed of doubt, as though Spence says a lot of disagreeable things, which he doesn't. He does a lot of work here, as you've stated. So I appreciate you sort of walking that back and saying that. And I wasn't trying to come off on you, but at the same time, if I can use you as an example of what not to do, I will. So thank you. I appreciate it.
And that's fine. And I really come up here with like a good heart, we don't all have to agree, but
Listen,
what?
Alex, I want to have this conversation with you, but I feel like it would be great for later. We only have Mark up here for a certain amount of time. He's a busy man, and I do have other people with their hands up who are waiting to ask a pertinent question to what the discussion is. So I appreciate your kind words, but let's move on.
Let's reset the space. If you have a general statement, come up, please say it. Whatever. Keep general statements to a 30-second period so we can get back to question and debate scenarios. Let's try to keep the arguing down. If you disagree and we have two disagreements in a row and a rebuttal, then we just move on from the topic. So if I mute everyone, don't take it as offense that I'm muting you. I'm just resetting the space to keep the flow going. So Jana E., you are up.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I haven't been talking lately, but I wanted to just basically make a statement and a couple little points, which I love. You guys have already kind of hit on them too. It just makes me feel stronger about it. And I do love everything Mark brings to a conversation. It might not be anything someone wants to hear. It might not pan out, but he's very convicted in what he thinks. I do think it comes from a spot of concern and caring, not something that he wants to fuck over anyone. So I totally respect that. And but mainly I was thinking that I think Adam, from my opinion, I think he's really a special person, and I think that he has taken many companies to a good place. And with AMC, I feel like we're very lucky to have him. I feel like he's had this time to analyze GME, to see how they did their stock split. And I do think he wants to screw the hedge funds. I really do. And I think this is going to be a great way for us to get our share count like we want. And I'm really excited for the next 2 weeks to see how this pans out. Like, this is exciting for us. We don't know how it's going to happen. We all think the squeeze, might be in play, and that would be awesome for however long it takes. But, also we're prepared to hold, and I'm prepared for that too. And in the long run, I just don't think Adam would make APE and then, to honor us and to do this stock split and to look at the movement and then fuck us with APE. It's so wrong. And I can't see anyone but Kenny doing something like that, not Adam. And,
he would go down as an ultimate villain in history, to be honest, unless he really thinks he has that much control over, the way people think, which I don't think he does.
Yeah, and I think Adam...
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay, totally almost done. But I think Adam is really close to retirement, and I think he wants to make success out of AMC, success with this movement. I think he wants to be a historical figure that people are going to remember forever. And I feel like he even kind of gave hydrocop mining a gift. We have the gift of the gold mine, which I think is awesome. I invest in it. But he also gave them the apes. And there's no stronger retail people you could give hydrocop than the apes. So I think Adam has this long vision that in the end is going to be beautiful for everyone. And AMC is going to be able to stand alone, and it'll keep us as investors, and we'll all have gotten rich. And that's just my fairy tale that I hope comes true, and I think will. That's all.
Thanks, Jana. I agree with you on most points there. Man, we got a lot of hands.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks, Jana. That's awesome to hear your voice again too. Let's get some hands. Burp got dropped as Forlano, can you co-host?
Yes, I can.
I think I sent you an invite. Let me see here.
I saw it and then it disappeared.
All right, there you go. All right, now we're reset. Let's get to the bottom hand since Busy and Zero have talked a couple times. Let's do Mayor, Tony H, and then Ape Ace. And then we'll start trying to cycle speakers through because there's 3 requests. So.
Well, really quick, can I just ask, does anyone have a question directly for Marc?
Yes.
I do. Okay, can I? Yeah. I just want to read some because I got a DM from somebody. I just think it's important. It says, Marc, thanks for coming into the call and appreciate your candor. The drug test makes sense in the rig and corrupt market. I wouldn't put it past the rig system to screw us retailers again and again and again. It's a shame our markets are truly not free and fair. Much respect for you and your honesty. I've lost my life savings over a rigged BS market time and time again. I look forward to Overstock and T0 cleaning up this mess. I've learned a lot from following you. Wish I knew you 23 years ago. Thanks again, much respect. Okay, whoever that person is completely gets it and has been a victim of this shit. And Jenna, I appreciate the kind words, and nothing would make me happier than to be really wrong here. Nothing would make me happier than see this thing go to 60, 70, 80, wherever.
Yeah, Marc, anyone who was here in January of last year was a victim to exactly what you just described.
I get it, but there has been nothing that's been put in place to change the fuckery that went on. Nothing. And everyone can say whatever they want about Adam Aaron. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Can't argue on opinion. I'm just trying to say what has changed that all of a sudden everyone is going to not tip the drug guy on the drug test and everything's going to be free, fair, and accurate. It just doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't work that way. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I buy Spence a keg and I get to meet him. I really do. I really do.
Marc, do you have time to let a couple people ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, we lost the person who was just up here that wanted to ask you something, but I know Tony, I think, said he was waiting to ask.
Yes. Hey, Marc. Just a quick question. The way I understand, the hedges will need APE. So if we hold APE and Adam Aaron doesn't dilute more for next couple months, let's say, do you think APE can skyrocket since it will be demanded by hedges to cover?
No, because I think if you own your AMC in a margin account, you're loaning out your APE, whether or not you think you are or not. If you own this in a margin account, your shares are being lent out, whether you know it or not. And it doesn't matter. It's part of the margin agreement. So if you're legally, loaning the shares out, shares are legally being borrowed, the hedge funds get to borrow it from whoever they're borrowing it from. So if I'm short AMC and I'm short AMC at Interactive Brokers and I'm legally borrowing the shares, I don't worry about APE because the APE gets delivered to me. Where the rub comes in is if you're illegally short the shares, if you're naked or synthetically short this thing, you know you're synthetically shorted, you know you're offsides, but you simply buy APE the first day of trading. You buy APE. APE's going to trade a great deal the first day. There's going to be no problem being able to borrow APE or buy APE. And then APE gets in the borrow pool because APE will be marginable because APE's a DTCC security. This is what people do not want to tell you because they want you of the belief, right, that there's going to be this major squeeze. And I'm just simply saying there may not be, and there won't be, right? The squeeze has happened in front of this to get people back on side. The druggies have stopped using the drugs because they know there's a drug test on the 22nd. It's the best, cleanest, clearest way I can say it. I'm speaking from my brain and I'm speaking from my heart. So,
I'm sorry, Mark. Let's go ahead and let Zero Dark jump up here and ask his question.
All right. So, Mark.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, I think he's breaking up. Zero Dark, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. But can Mark hear me?
Hold on, guys. I'm going to mute everyone and then unmute and see if we can get everybody back. Okay. Mark, who was talking last? Was it Mark?
Okay. Mark, hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can break. You're breaking, but I hear you.
All right, Mark. So I got a quick question. So, at this point, what do you suggest us to do? Coming with all this information. I mean, I don't understand.
I don't tell anyone what to do. I don't tell my kids what to do, my dogs what to do. I don't tell anyone what to do. I do me, you do you. Right? I have no position in this.
I understand, but
I do understand something, okay? I do have a conscience. I do, and I will sleep clearly, knowing full well I've spilled my guts on this call, saying what I think's going to happen. I may be wrong. I may be right. But it's your money. You do you. You do whatever you want to do.
All right,
whatever you guys do, you guys do. I don't tell anyone what to do.
Mark, Mark, hold on. I got you. But what I'm trying to get at is that you're putting fear in a lot of people's mind here. And not a lot of people have experience that everybody. If you want to clear your conscience, out of all the stuff you did in the past, why don't you just publish a book with all the dirty little secrets from the hedge funds? That way, people can know what they're facing when they get into the market. But coming in here, putting fear in people's minds is not the way to go about it, Mark. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so the good news is I am doing a book, and it's going to be something, and it's going to be long, and I'll do what you suggest.
No, it has to be short. It can't be long.
There's too many stories. But the problem with what you're saying is you may look at it as fear. I look at it as truth. So one man's truth could be your fear.
Mark,
whoa.
Mark, that's not true. That's not, because fear is irrational. Fear is irrational.
Okay. What am I saying that's irrational? What am I saying that's false? What am I saying that's wrong? Just tell me one thing.
There's a deep philosophical problem with your assumption about knowledge that we don't really have the time to discuss here.
Okay, then let's not, and let's keep moving on because we have other people with their hands up, and I don't want to argue semantics over fear and, your own definition of what fear is. Regardless, Mark, I get what you're saying, but I also get what Dark is saying because, it does plant a seed of doubt and fear into people's minds, and it's right before this thing is about to happen. Many of us have been here, hanging on for over a year now. over a year and a half. And it's just, it's like you can see the finish line. It's right in front of us. And then to have someone sort of almost feel as though they're raining on your parade, it's not a good thing. But I mean, I appreciate what you bring as far as experience, but I think also some things do need to be, pulled back a little, and people do need to understand that these are your opinions of what will happen. So it's merely an opinion.
Let's let A-Base jump in. I'm sorry. Let's let A-Base jump in and then Game Boy.
So someone bought 26,000 puts of Innovix 2 days in front of earnings, right? And the stock went from 15 to 13. And everyone was all over Twitter saying someone knows something, because it was essentially a short bet of 2.6 million shares. Everyone reaches out to me, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think? And I said, I don't give a fuck about anyone buying puts. I know what I know, and I could give a fuck. Everyone's entitled to make their bet. Everyone's entitled to do whatever. If someone wants to drop $1.4 million buying Innovix puts in front of earnings, God bless them. If you think I'm spreading fear, God bless you. If you think you're right, buy more. If you think you're wrong, do whatever you want to do. But that's what the market is.
No, Mark, that's not what it's about. It's not like a measuring contest. That's not what it's about at all. People are desperate. People have been in this for over a year, was my point. It doesn't need to turn into this, well, if you think you're right, buy more. You know what I mean? No, people are taking what you're saying seriously, and people have probably thought it themselves. People are fearful that by you coming into a space with 400 people and talking about it out loud, things that maybe have even crossed their own minds, that, it could deter people. But at the end of the day, it's not going to make enough of an impact to hurt the stock or benefit the stock, whatever we discuss in this space right here. So, that comes from the head honcho, that comes from Adam, that comes from decision making and people in charge, and that comes from, let's face it, the SEC not doing anything at all in regard to the stock.
And we'll see come the 22nd. That's all. We'll see what happens. But am I better off keeping it to myself without?
Well, if it absolutely rips like BBBY did today, then yeah, you are better off shutting your mouth.
Okay, well, we'll soon see. Right? We'll soon see.
Absolutely, we will.
But whoever's
all right, A-Base, we're next.
Whoever's.
Hey, Mark, thanks for coming on the call. I really appreciate your insight. I'm of the opinion that, AMC is overvalued and it is a $10 stock. However, one thing that you said that kind of conflicts for me is you're saying that the system's rigged and these guys had a 2-3 week head start, which I kind of agree with. I feel like if two parties are in a synthetic or naked short, their market maker can probably cure that position with funds rather than buying 8. However, you said that shorts and synthetics are going to have to buy APE on the 22nd to, cover their positions and for what they've synthetically lent out. My question for you is, are you of the opinion that there isn't a ton of synthetics and naked shorts on this stock, given you're saying that, they could just buy it and the price isn't going to skyrocket on the 22nd?
I think who was ever naked or whoever wasn't synthetic is called their back office and say, what do I need to do to get myself on sides by the 22nd? And the back office or whoever would say, you need to cover, don't worry about it, you can buy it day one, we'll make it good, things like that. I think everyone, however you need to protect yourself, everyone's going to have 2 weeks to figure out how to get on sides. Everyone's going to have 2 weeks to figure out how to exactly get on sides on this thing.
Well, Ace made a really good point. If I could just make a point really quick that he says, fundamentally he believes that AMC should be at $10. I disagree. I feel fundamentally AMC is right where it should be fundamentally, and we can just agree to disagree on that aspect. But that's one of the reasons why I'm willing to take the risk and wait, because post all of this, I still feel fundamentally, and especially if debt gets paid down, that AMC is sitting right where it belongs. So for me, it's not much skin off my back if that ends up being the case, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, Tara. And I just want, I think what's important is that, people to just sit back and realize the bashing of Adam Aaron. I mean, I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't have anything personally against him. But his fiduciary duty isn't to the share price. His fiduciary duty is to the company. And he's going to do what's best for the company as a whole. And if that means that he's going to sell 500 million additional APE in January 2023 to generate funds for more runway because the company is constantly losing money every quarter. Debt isn't bad. Every company has debt. Apple has debt. Amazon has debt. Everyone has debt. The problem with AMC's debt is that they can't service it. So once they pay it off, they're going in debt the following quarter and the following quarter, etc. And if all of these things don't come to fruition to provide enough revenue to be positive, they're going to continue raising money, which will dilute the stock, which will lower the stock price. So I think it's important to understand that, Adam Aaron might be an ape and he's catering to you, but he's basically playing the hand that he's been dealt, which is there's a ton of viral, sentiment on the market. There are a lot of loyal apes like you guys. But one thing you have to look at is look at how many people are in this space. There's 400 or 500 people here. If there were hundreds of thousands of people in here, my personal belief would be, okay, I'm going to hold this longer. But I don't feel like the 4 million shareholders are going to hold this till it goes to 100 or 200. I feel like when they make enough return, they're going to sell. So, I mean, it's really a matter of when the squeeze happens and how high it goes and who gets out. And whoever does it will be left holding the bag.
I have to call you out on. I have to call you out on something. You made an inference with respect to the number of people in the space. That's a selection bias. So that's not a valid inference.
Me?
You can't appeal to that. APACE was appealing to the number of listeners in the space, and that is a selection bias. You can't appeal to that and form a successful inference. It's not true.
I just don't think the 4 million shareholders are holding that long. That's all. I don't think they're holding as long as everyone on this call and have the conviction everyone on this call has. And I think there's a lot of people that are like myself and Mark that may be in this just for the squeeze and will get out. And when they do,
absolutely, there are day traders as well. I mean, I've seen it come in waves.
Hey everybody, sorry to do this, but I do have an appointment at 3 I forgot about, so I've got to cut the stream off. I think we're basically just arguing semantics anyways for the most part. You guys all know where I stand. With AMC, I think the dividend's going to get issued. Preferred shares are going to go out to retail. There's not going to be enough to go around. Market makers and brokers and hedge funds are going to scramble to get them to facilitate their short positions. They're already underwater. There's going to be a massive market event. APE and AMC are going to go up in price. Then it's going to be a matter of how long retail holds and or sells their APE shares. Once APE goes out into the open market for sale from the holders, that's when shorts will be able to start flipping their positions. I do think we're going to see a major market event, and I think later on Adam Aaron will put more out, maybe next year, and has a really good opportunity to pay off a massive amount of debt. I think we're going to get our money. I think AMC is going to be debt-free. I think we've all been in this so long, we know exactly what's going on. There's people that agree, there's people that disagree, but for the most part, this is where I stand on it. So, thanks for coming to the stream. Please like and subscribe if you can.